And we are live. It's the Free Culture Sports Show, and we have a very special guest today. We have Ted, and I've never heard it pronounced. I assume it's Westervelt, or is it Westervelt?
Westervelt. It might have been
Okay.
Westervelt back in Amsterdam.
Yeah. So he is the lead protagonist of SoccerReform.us and perhaps the main antagonist of many on Twitter under the Soccer Reform
I was going to say you
handle.
should switch that protagonist and
Well,
antagonist.
yeah. So he is a leading proponent of soccer reform, obviously, but also promotion and relegation in the U.S. and specifically for soccer. Now, I know Evan and I spoke yesterday on our show a little bit, or maybe it was on Wednesday's show that Evan did by himself. I don't know, but Evan talked about recently promotion and relegation in other sports as well. Maybe if Ted has thought anything about that, we can talk about that. Right now on the video, you're either seeing me talk or you're seeing this screen share that Ted has up. That's what I see, and it's the Cincinnati Reds ballpark, and back in the early 1900s, and there is a soccer pitch on the left-hand side of the bottom left-hand side of the screen. So um,
Just for fun.
yeah, so now we're it's Back to the Future. The NYCFC are playing in Yankee Stadium. So so
Things never change.
yeah, I have a lot of things I'm curious about, Ted, but basically what we wanted to do is give you the floor. Basically we tend to do things for about 20 minutes, but that's what we always tell people, and then we always end up going at least half an hour. So basically, as long as you want to talk, we'll talk. And but tell the people what promotion and relegation is, because I'm sure we have some that don't even know the concept at all, because we're not just a soccer-specific show. And then say how you think it could work in the U.S.
Uh, Promotion relegation, for those who don't understand it or aren't familiar with the concept, is in the United States we have fixed pro sports leagues, which means you have the same lineup of teams in the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball, same teams every year. You finish in the bottom of the table. You're in there. You stay up. You get your draft pick and you go on to the next season. And it kind of rewards you for failure. And not to start the debate, but promotion relegation system is where instead of minor leagues, you have lower divisions, and in those lower divisions, the top finishers in the lower divisions move up to the next divisions the next year, and the bottom finishers move down. And this works for the top division too as well. So if you're in the British Barclays Premier League or any other league in the world, basically, except for the Australian League, if you finish in the bottom of your major league, of your top division, of your top flight, you drop down to a lower division the next year. The two main benefits of this system for me are, one, it permits the great clubs in the top division, and two, it drives a lot of interest and investment to lower divisions. Sir Alex Ferguson, and for those of you who don't know Sir Alex, he was the longtime manager of Manchester United, said that ending promotion relegation in England would be suicide for lower division clubs because of the interest and investment that these lower division clubs would lose. In England, put it this way, the Swansea promotion match, I believe it was in 2013 or 2014, drew about 1 billion viewers worldwide, and that's a lower division side playing and in a promotion match, drew about 1 billion viewers, and for that final playoff. And you think about it, that's 999 million more viewers than any MLS Cup has ever really got. So it's a great system. It's part of soccer. It's built into soccer at every level. It's built into the FIFA regulations on soccer, the FIFA mandates and FIFA laws. They call it the essence of the game, and it's something that in order for our soccer to reach its potential, I fervently believe that we need to grasp and accommodate and make it work in any possible way we can. Right now, as evidenced by that Swansea versus MLS Cup figure, MLS is I mean, to say they're not scratching the surface of the potential of soccer in the United States is not giving it enough credit. I mean, there is so much potential for this game in the United States, and there's been so much potential for this game in the United States since since the early 1900s. And if you go back to the time where that Cincinnati Reds ballpark was, I mean, we had a huge soccer league at that point that was really second only to Major League Baseball. We've got a history. We've got a consistent pattern of immigrants coming into the United States from soccer-loving nations all over the world. And you know, I believe that promotion relegation is going to help us finally cement soccer's position in the United States pro sports landscape and frankly make it huge.
So if you live in a non-MLS city and you would like, you know, the highest level of professional soccer in your city, then this is basically the way to make it happen. Either that, or you know, you have to be the Atlantas or Minnesotas and be, you know, given the grace of the MLS. But that is going to end at some point. I mean, they're expanding now, but you know, the NBA, the NHL, all the major leagues, they all have about 30 teams, you know, 32, but nobody's bigger than 32. So,
right,
you know, that's going to end. Maybe you're one of the few, but, you know, I just moved from Baltimore to Cincinnati. Baltimore, 2 major league sports franchises. Cincinnati, the same 2 sports, 2 major league sports franchises. And there's a lot of cities like that. So, you know, in Charlotte, there is 2 major league sports franchises, different set than Cincinnati and Baltimore. But Evans got on his Railhawks, his scarf there. And, you know, the Railhawks, they could theoretically win the Open Cup. But, you know, as you were talking about, there's not the investment because that's a one-year thing. You know, like that's one cup. The league is not bringing in, NASL is not bringing, the modern NASL is not bringing in the money that, you know, the MLS is, even though the MLS pretends like they're not bringing in money.
Right. You know, you look at the teams that are doing well in the second division and the third division in American soccer, and however you want to parse that at this point, people try to say that, you know, the line doesn't matter between USL and NASL, the 2 biggest lower divisions we have currently. But the teams that are really spiking in interest and investment right now are the ones that are frankly shooting for promotion to MLS. Whether you're talking about Sacramento or Louisville or any of those teams, that you find me a team in the lower division that's doing well, and it's partly because promotion to MLS is in the air. They're talking about it. If you're Sacramento, you're not only talking about it, you're marketing it. I mean, ready for MLS. They're talking about getting into MLS. That's a big piece of their marketing campaign. So right now, just looking at that, you can see a lot of the potential for a promotion in our lower division. Even though we have a very stilted and bizarre and frankly corrupted form of it, it's still operating. The rules are still kind of operating, and MLS is grasping onto that, and USL is grasping onto that to make money. So you can get a tiny little sliver of a snapshot of what's possible just from looking at a team like Sacramento or Louisville or St. Louis, or you know, the list goes on and on.
Right. In Louisville, this is their first season, but they're already. I mean, in Sacramento has not been around. What is this? Their second, third season? They haven't been around.
Yeah. No, I think it's second season.
In Minnesota, of course, they already have been benevolently given a franchise after they paid their whatever $100 million expansion fee or whatever. That's happening in 2018. So, but you know, these other teams, they want a piece of the pie as well.
Right, and they're doing a great job. I mean, they're doing a really great job. These lower division clubs are doing a great job at grabbing that market by talking about promotion almost blatantly.
Yeah, a different type of promotion, but
right. A type of promotion that, you know, where you try and show MLS how many people and how much interest you can generate, and they might promote a version of your team. But you know,
so. Obviously, you're a soccer guy. Have you thought about how, I mean, in Europe, they do this in other sports as well. Have you thought about that in the U.S. system? I don't think it would work in baseball because baseball has too entrenched of a minor league. Oh, and I've got an echo.
You came back somewhere. My speakers aren't on.
I don't know. I had an echo.
I think it's gone now.
Yeah.
I think it works in any American sport. You know, perhaps minus the NFL, and I think that's part of the reason that U.S. pro sports guys are are so concerned about the promotion relegation debate. I think what I see happening on Twitter, and you guys know I'm on Twitter. When promotion relegation get really going, they talk about it happening in different sports. So people go straight to the NBA or people go straight to Major League Baseball and say how great those sports use promotion relegation. So.
No.
So I'm gonna, because I can hear echo from Ted as well, but it sounds like Evan can't hear the echoes. So I'm gonna just let I'm just gonna let Evan run the interview, and I'm gonna get some new headphones or something.
Okay. So Ted, what Doug just kind of asked, the question I was thinking of was, promotion and relegation in different sports. Do you think, I mean, I know you've put a lot of thought in this, clearly. What about in American soccer, the U.S. soccer, a team like the Railhawks or the Charlotte Independents, who maybe don't have a huge budget, to have to travel across the country? Because the United States is a large country, so the amount of travel and the cost of travel would be really high. How do you think that the MLS or the teams would deal with the cost of travel if there was some sort of promotion or relegation involved?
I think two things come to mind right away. One is that both Charlotte and the Railhawks are doing travel now. I mean, the Railhawks are going to Edmonton, and so I think it's kind of a moot point. I understand where it's coming from. I think it's kind of a moot point. I think that part of what'll happen is a huge investment that's happened. It's going to happen with promotion, relegation, reasonable budget. Plus, I think your team can't grab. I mean, your team is capable of getting. They better be capable of paying for hotels and planes. And there's 100 other ways to do this too. You could airline sponsors, hotel sponsors, with in-kinds. There's other ways to travel. I don't think we should let that go.
Do you think that I know at some point, and maybe the USL still does it, they had an East and a West, almost two different leagues.
Yeah. Well, the plan on my website calls for breaking the United States into two separate pyramids altogether. Because for me, and it's not an issue so much. It's about the market size of the United States being too big for a traditional pyramid of 20 teams. I think if you do one pyramid in the U.S. of 20 teams, you run the risk of it being missing huge segments in the United States. You could end up with 10 teams in the I-95 corridor in the Northeast, and another 10 teams on the West Coast. And miss the entire country if you were to open that big wide. So I think that's how I do it. I split it.
Would you still split it geographically, or would you split it? Okay, yes. I figured so. And
that's the way it's been done for a long time. You go to U.S. Open Cup. U.S. Open Cup has been a U.S. tournament for 100 years. So it's sort of a traditional format in the United States. Take it there, take it to whatever sport you want. I mean, I think that's one way to do it. Even though it's not. I don't mitigate travel costs. It certainly has that effect.
Well, good enough. Doug, are you back with us yet?
Yeah. I still have an echo for me and Ted, but not for you. So I don't know what. I'm not shutting going to myself from actual talking in my ears. I'm just gonna take notes.
Okay. Well, let's see. I'm trying to. Okay. Doug wrote a note here that the Australian League doesn't do promotion or relegation, so that was at least one example of somewhere else that didn't do it. But I don't know enough about areas other than Europe. Do you know about promotion and relegation in South America or Africa?
In every 209 nations are in FIFA, and virtually every one of them uses a promotion relegation system. And it's been going that's over a 100-year span. And the best part, one of the best indicators for me about the stability of a promotion relegation system is that in all of those examples over 100 years, no open league federation sanctioned open league has ever. So yeah, Australia doesn't use it. Australia's been caught in the same kind of conundrum we're caught in, where supporters and fans are calling for promotion relegation. This federation made comments about promotion relegation being inevitable, and then switched it back, and so Australia's going through I think an even more pronounced version of this debate that we are right now. As the only other closed soccer league system out there, that's always good to see. But I mean, not to discount that. When tiny little nations who can't support two divisions or three divisions do a closed league, but none go as far as U.S. Soccer or the Australian Federation and discount relegation as a possibility. So you'll have a country like Kuwait or not Kuwait, Qatar or South Korea that suspend promotion for a time while they build up their leagues, and then the leagues become big enough, and they have enough teams, then they re-enter the open league format. And that being said, you talk about small nations that can't accommodate a promotion relegation system. There are over 100 clubs in the top three divisions of U.S. Soccer right now. So we certainly have the clubs to pull this off.
Well, what would be if we split it into an East and West pyramid? How many teams would you say in the top flight for each side?
What I would do, I play with that figure a little bit. What I tend to do is bring it down to 18, and that leaves room for U.S. Open Cup and for other formats. I mean, I want to. My concern is that we split it to. I want to make sure that we're getting interleague play as much as possible, as many formats as possible. So you got U.S. Open Cup, maybe a revitalized Super League, maybe other competitions. Other can see those, the Los Angeles versus New York, and et cetera. And plus, that system also makes playoff. I mean, you can bring in a tiny little league cup of the top finishers in both leagues and play a really fun little tournament at the end of the year. So I think that's another way to mix it up between East and West. But I think that keeping it at 18 leaves schedule space to do all of that stuff. You can have a balanced schedule at 18 and have plenty of room for friendlies, U.S. Open Cup, and playoffs, and whatever else you want to throw in there to keep it interesting.
That's a good idea. What would you see this as them both being considered like under the MLS, or would they be two separate entities? Because
I don't think MLS can do the transition, and so I think this is a U.S. soccer job, and I think this is a federation. It has to come down for their federation. And frankly, all the federation can do today is come on in. Let's have an open system, invite everybody in, and if MLS doesn't want to participate, MLS doesn't have to participate. And that's the way they do it in India. India has a closed league called the Indian Super League, but it doesn't have a D1 status like MLS does. And that's the thing I admitted in my opening statement is the difference between soccer and some other U.S. sports is that there's this federation system above it that's sanctioned by FIFA that frankly decides who the minor leagues are. And U.S. soccer decides the pyramid. We do have a pyramid. MLS is D1, NSL is D2, and USL is D3. And so there's a structure in place that is defining who's big and who's not big in a way that doesn't exist in, say, Major League Baseball pyramid, the Major League Baseball minor league system. There's this governing body, this independent governing body is something that U.S. pro sports don't do, and they frankly chafe against. And I think that what's happened with MLS is that they've for a century, there's been this conflict between pro leagues and federation, whether the NASL in the 70s or the ASL in the 1920s, two biggest leagues before MLS. There's this friction, and the ASL fought with the league. There was a huge soccer war about U.S. Open Cup, and then NASL kind of ignored the federation in the 70s. And today, I think MLS has kind of co-opted our federation, and it creates kind of the same healthy dynamic before. So what I think that goes from there is that you can't have promotion and relegation. The only thing really standing in the way of promotion and relegation is MLS being sort of being the overseer of U.S. soccer right now.
Do you think that MLS, maybe not at this point, and it may be at this point, can become almost too big of an organization, kind of like the NFL? NFL is a massive organization, and it seems like even though the individual teams are in professional American football are billion-dollar grossing companies, they still are underneath the power of the NFL umbrella. And that may be because of the way American football is set up. But do you think that the MLS is there, or do you think that the MLS is capable of getting to that point, which would prevent the federation from even really having the power to do that with reason?
That opens a Pandora's box of all kinds of stuff. MLS. I guess where I would start with that is soccer is so different than NFL. It's a true global market. The NFL basically the NFL is global professional football for all intents and purposes. So it's such a different scenario in terms of not only there's no NFL teams don't play anybody outside of the NFL, so right there MLS is different. But not only that, you're operating in a global market where this is an easy concept for anybody who watches soccer. You have so many choices of what soccer you want to watch on TV in the United States, and MLS is appealing to a smaller and smaller slice of that. So could MLS get so big, and could the tanker, as one of the MLS reporters called it, the MLS is like a tanker, and it's really hard to turn a tanker because of the way things are going. I don't know that MLS. It depends on how you measure MLS. Certainly by global standards, by quality of play, MLS is not big at all in comparison to the rest of the league. So for me, it doesn't. Yeah, there's investment wrapped up in stadiums. There's all the other accoutrements of MLS, all the other financial decisions, and guys like NFL owners like Blank and Kraft and Hunt. These guys buying into MLS because of the protections that MLS offers. I mean, sure, there's obviously some institutional blockades to moving the ship, but when you talk about MLS and the global soccer scene, it's no oil tank. It's a little boat. Is it going to upset some of the owners that bought in because of the protections in MLS? Sure, but it's not going to harm. I think probably the biggest point you can make in that transition is talk about how big soccer will be with promotion and relegation, how much their properties will appreciate value with promotion and relegation. I talked to a city about, okay, you put your tax dollars into a soccer stadium. How is promotion and relegation affecting your investment? What happens if your team drops in the minor leagues? And I think part of the hurdle there is describing to these investors and cities that soccer is going to be so big that second division in a promotion relegation system is going to draw more viewers probably than MLS does today. And I think that's a tough job to sell, but one sell that's going to work for cities and some MLS owners that I think probably would dive into a system or probably would want to do a promotion relegation system if U.S. soccer gave us up.
That's all fascinating stuff. I hope we get there eventually. I think that we will if the more almost European soccer fans start tuning into the MLS and American professional soccer. They'll be asking, why aren't we doing this like the rest of the world? And I hope that drives the conversation even further. Thank you for answering our questions, Ted. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
One of the things that my pet project is U.S. Open Cup. So I encourage everybody to watch U.S. Open Cup, and I'm sure you guys in the city of Kern right now are being in Baltimore, Doug. I mean, U.S. Open Cup is a hugely underutilized tournament in the United States. It's got 100 years of history, incredible fun history, and it's a compelling tournament. It's great to see it getting more attention now, and I hope we can run with that tournament in lieu of promotion and relegation more and more as things go forward.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Ted. From Evan and Doug, this has been the Free Culture Sports Show.